This is Tony Chimmel, and I'd like to introduce the hosts of the Game Marks podcast, George Feis and Johnny Clash.
Welcome to the Game Marks podcast, where each and every week we take a deep dive into the good, the bad, and the awesome of wrestling video games. I'm the man they call Johnny Clash.
I'm George Feis, and today we're just hanging out, doing a little Q&A, answering your questions from social media, Discord, the Patreon, everything in between. Very excited about it.
And please subscribe and leave a 5-star review for this podcast on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and follow us on all forms of social media at Game Marks Pod. And don't forget, you can get this episode early and ad-free at patreon.com/podexchange. That's PODXCHANGE, along with the show notes, Discord access, live recordings, giveaways from us, from Going Postal, from State of Affairs, and a whole bunch of other cool shit.
Oh man, John,
I got to stop you right here. We've gotten a few YouTube comments the past few days. If you are watching this right now, if you're going to call this a review, if you're going to call this a playthrough, this is a podcast. Our name on YouTube is literally the Game Marks Podcast. If you're looking for the gameplay, scroll down. It's there.
Separate thing.
I promise you it's there. This
It's
is
a
a
separate
show.
thing.
That's all I needed to say. We got
We
multiple
appreciate
of those.
that you're here,
Yeah.
but if you're looking for gameplay, that's a separate thing. This is like a show about the game.
Yeah, I just had to clear the air. How you doing?
I'm doing okay, man. I gotta tell you, you took us through that playthrough of Guacamelee. That's on your Steam account. I may have also picked it up.
Yeah.
Can't help it. It's so good, and couldn't let you have all the fun. It's a great game, and
It is.
I'm enjoying playing through it.
I actually grabbed it in the Epic store when we played the first one, because I knew we'd play this eventually. So it's been there for a while. It was
Oh, wow.
free, so I just had it there. There are a bunch of other wrestling games that have not hit the 1-year mark either, that are still in my Epic Games account that we're just waiting to play. I don't even know if you know some of them are there.
I have an
there.
entire Steam wish list of all these games that we still have to play. Some of them aren't even out yet. Obviously, there's Ultra Pro Wrestling, but there's
Oh yeah.
Wrestle Story. There's something called Wrestling Cardboard Championship.
Wait, I almost put that on a few weeks ago.
Casual Pro Wrestling.
Uh-huh.
That came out December. Well, we won't be able to play it until December of this year, but really looking forward to playing that one. I mean, there's one that kind of walks the line of whether or not we should play it, but
Oh, we don't play those, huh?
It's Kaiju Big Battle.
Yep, that one's come up many times also.
Yeah, that was on the list of games that when we used to do the John, pick what game we're playing. Here's your list to pick from.
Yeah. Hey, one day it's going to happen. But I wanted to show you. So I have these 3 posters above here. I have Here
Yep.
Comes the Pain, I have Raw, and I have WrestleMania, the arcade game. I have this blank spot here.
You told me
that
you ordered a new one.
I'll show the camera. See this big blank spot here next to the micro brawlers above my window? Now I can't get my camera back in the right spot. Look at this. WCW
Oh, look
Super
at that.
Brawl. Big Sting. It says slamming. It's got him giving a little arm drag to, looks like Ricky Steamboat or Muda. Might be Muda. But
Hell yeah, that's
pretty
awesome.
cool. So I'm going to mount it, put it up on the wall, and I'm going to have a nice little collection here. And then eventually I'll replace Here Comes the Pain, because it's the European cover. And if you know, you know. So yeah, that's going to get mounted. It's going to look real cool. And that's that. But do you want to talk about AEW Fight Forever?
Yeah, let's
Adam
get
Copeland is dropping. They released it. They showed the video. I believe it's called the Rated Gold pack, not Rated R, Rated Gold. Now, we're going to get into this more in only 2 weeks when we cover the game. I want to show you right now. I'm on the Discord for AEW Fight Forever where they announced this, and you know how you could react with the little emojis?
Yep.
The top the top emojis here 55 fire emojis. That's good. That's number one.
That's good. We want that.
26 poop emojis.
Oh.
14 of the tongue with the dollar sign. 14 with the money bag. 13 with the flying money. 24 with a thumbs down. Then finally 18 with a thumbs up. 15 of the red X. Then 11 of the red circle saying stop. 12 of the person saying stop. And then from there, it's just a bunch of other ones. But there's 3 cucumbers as well, or pickles, whatever those are.
Yes.
That's...
I mean, how do you not throw that
people
emoji
are
up there?
Feeling about this game.
And
We said we're going to cover it in great detail. We'll announce that at the end of the show, but it's not looking good. It's not. Maybe the PS Plus thing we announced last week can help, but
it's going to bring new players to the space for sure. At the very
hope
least.
So. I hope so.
Maybe it won't be
really need it.
Maybe it won't be like a 15-minute queue for Stadium Stampede.
It probably still will be, to be honest.
Can't
but we're going
wait
to try
to
that
play
next
that.
episode as well.
Can't wait.
We're not really putting on nostalgia goggles. We're not really taking a plunge this week. We asked you guys questions. You guys came at us with some questions. Some of them are fun. Some of them are gaming. Some of them are a little ridiculous, but we're going to answer them anyway. But George, are you ready for the Q&A episode?
Let's do it.
Looking to add the newest wrestling figures to your lineup? There's no better spot to pick up your next figure than the Wrestling Collector Shop.
Started by collectors for collectors around the globe, Wrestling Collector Shop has been serving the fans the latest and greatest in wrestling action figures since 2002. So the next time you're looking for the newest wrestling collectible to add to your collection, make sure go to WrestlingCollectorShop.com and use code GameMarks to save yourself 10% on your order.
That's 10% off your order with code GameMarks at WrestlingCollectorShop.com.
All right, the deep dive, the Q&A is brought to you by our friends over at Wrestling Collector Shop. You just heard the ad. Make sure to go use code GameMarks to save yourself 10% over at WrestlingCollectorShop.com. Now, thanks to our friends over at Wrestling Collector Shop, we are able to give away a figure each and every week. Last week, we gave away an Elite Sami Zayn. Johnny Clash, what are we giving away this week?
This week, we are giving away this Elite Top Talent 2024 Cody Rhodes. Look at this beautiful figure. I would like to keep it for myself and get rid of the yellowish, the first run of the Jazzwares that I have. But one of you guys will win that. All you have to do is go find our pinned post on social media, on Instagram specifically. Follow us, tag 2 friends, and you are entered. You could enter as many times as you'd like. There you go.
Oh, man. All right, John. Let's get into it right here. The first question comes
with a bang.
Comes from Steve Hoker. Steve, this question is, what is your go-to Taco Bell order?
We're very on the nose here. We are a gaming podcast. We're going to talk about Taco Bell. First, I have a question. Thoughts on Baja Blast?
I enjoy it. I like it. I don't know. It's not my favorite soda.
Overrated.
But I like it. Yeah, I enjoy it. If I go to Taco Bell, I get it. But if I'm not having Taco Bell, I don't crave it.
It's not even the best Mountain Dew flavor, other than the original. Which the original kind of sucks, if you ask me.
Damn.
Code Red, the purple one. That's where I go. But anyway,
right. Code Red is really good.
Code Red's the best.
I don't really want
Vault. Remember
OG.
Vault?
Oh yeah.
So back in the day, I didn't like Red Bull. So I used to do Jaeger bombs with either Monster or Vault, which was so bad.
God.
So bad. I eventually just did it. Anyway, Crunchwrap Supreme, always. I usually do the meal, so it comes with like a spare taco or 2. I think 2. I think it comes with 2. Those usually don't make it home. And then a cheesy gordita crunch. And if they are on the menu, I will tack on some nacho fries to that with the dipping sauce.
I don't think I've ever had the nacho fries.
Oh, they're another world.
Good to know. I'm right there with you. Cheesy gordita crunch. I think it may be the best thing on the menu.
I think, yeah.
Crunchwrap Big fan of the Crunchwrap as well.
You had the Cheez-It Crunchwrap recently.
I tried it. Yeah, I split it with someone. It was good. I don't know.
George, if you ever ask me to split Taco Bell, that might be the end of the show.
Well, it was one of those things where like the person that I went with didn't want to. They're like, oh, I've been getting the same thing forever, and I know this person's order like back and front. It's one of my good friends, and they were just like, I don't eat Taco Bell enough to be like, I'm gonna try something different. He's like, I just want my normal meal, but I also really want to try it. I was like, how about this? You get your usual, I'll get my usual, and then we'll order one and we'll split it just to say that we tried it. But now we don't each have to get one, and God forbid it sucks. We're not like, I wasted like the once in a while that I get Taco Bell, that it's ruined. So
not an ad.
Yeah, no, it was pretty good. I don't think that I would want to eat a whole one of it because it felt, if it was the only thing you were having from Taco Bell, it's good. But it was heavy. It was heavier than a regular Crunchwrap.
Have you ever tried doing 2 Crunchwraps? That's a bomb.
You gotta do 2 Crunchwraps.
That's just
as the bread with a spicy chicken from.
Oh God!
In between.
I mean, that kind of sounds pretty good.
It's like the what is it called? The McDouble, but it's the Taco Bell McDouble.
Oh, Steve Hoker also asks us, which game system do you think has the most comfortable controller? The current Xbox One gets his vote. So you're holding the N64 controller up. That's your vote?
There is something about this controller, as stupid as it looks.
I have to hold it.
Hang on. I cannot describe why. I think it's because I don't know, man.
So, okay. Obviously, your hand just molds to it. We played this I've probably held this controller more than any controller in my entire life.
100% right there with you.
But how annoying is the Z? How annoying is the thumbstick? Start is even not really there. The way B and A are like alternate. Listen. They say if it ain't broke, don't fix it. They fixed it with the GameCube controller. I'll just say that.
GameCube is good. Xbox, I will say, like the new, like the current generation Xbox controller, very comfortable.
I think so too. For years, I was all PlayStation, so I got very used to that. And now holding a PlayStation controller is the weirdest thing to me. So I'm going to go with the newest generation of Xbox controllers also. Yeah. I have this beautiful Turtle Beach controller right here, and it's even lighter than the other ones. I forget I have these paddles.
I got Turtle Beach too, man.
It's great. Love it. That's my answer. Newest Xbox. I agree with you, Steve. Now, WJR0709 says, do you have a dream concept for a wrestling game that you haven't seen anyone do or seen anyone do right yet? If nothing comes to mind, you could also talk about non-wrestling game concepts.
We've talked about it before. It's been a while since we brought it up, so if you're new to the podcast, let's tell you about one of the craziest ideas that John and I ever had on the podcast. I know where
you're going here.
So there is that air hockey table that is the wrestling air hockey table. And ever since that I have found out that existed, I want an NHL hit style game of that. I want, like, it could be the same character design style as Battlegrounds. Cartoony, over the top, like unrealistic proportions.
Even less, I'll take.
In a regular NHL game where like everything's over the top. Did we talk about? Have we ever brought up NHL 3-on-3 Arcade?
I don't know.
That was a PlayStation Network game released. It was probably on Xbox too, but I played it on PlayStation Network back in the day, and it's fun. It's like that. It's like a 3v3 hits. There's power ups. It's like,
well, that's still in there now. Like it's still in the whatever I haven't played in so long. I hated the last one, but they still do the threes. Like that's a really big part of the game.
Oh no, but this was 3v3 with like power ups, and it was.
They have that still.
Oh really?
Yeah, check it out. You're on the Game Pass.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It's just called threes, I think.
It was without a doubt like one. I put so much time into that game on the PlayStation 3 that I got my money's worth out of it for sure. But that's my pick. A hockey game based around the air hockey table from the 80s, I think. 80s, 90s, 80s.
I agree. As soon as you said it, that's where my mind went. But also, we've been saying for a long time, we need a new style WrestleMania, the arcade game, with an updated roster.
Oh, yeah.
It's just so much fun. Just so much fun. Now, Joe Compton, he's in the chat right now. He says he asked the question in the Discord.
Oh, live question.
Yeah, live question. What is one console and game that you love to hate?
Ooh.
Hmm.
Love to hate.
I think I love to hate the Dreamcast.
I also, that was the first place that my mind went, but I also feel like you're more in love with the console than I am, but I feel like back in the day did not give the GameCube its fair shot.
Oh, that's like my number one. You can't,
I know, it just wasn't the one that I like. I got into the GameCube later.
Okay.
Like
That's fair.
Like towards the end of it, because I was just like, oh, I've got other consoles. I'm not interested in the GameCube. And I was like, oh, the GameCube's got a lot of good stuff on it.
But that's the thing. It's a different console. Like you were probably playing the games I was playing, the Call of Duties and the competitive games, where GameCube, it's more like, I'm going to play this, and this.
Yeah.
But I fell in love with, obviously, the wrestling games on it. So that's kind of what sold me in. And whenever my sister wasn't playing Willy Wonka, I was playing WrestleMania 19. So there you go.
I've also never really been a big handheld guy.
Oh, my Game Boy, every single generation of them were attached to my hip.
I got out after the Pocket SP is the one that flipped.
The SP flipped. Yeah, and then the DS, obviously.
Yeah, but so it was like the regular big,
Monkey
like
Ball. Oh my god,
the big silver.
Yeah.
Then it went to the color
SP, Game Boy Advance
and then
SP.
had
Yeah,
the SP was the single screen. Oh, it was the Advance SP, so it was the Advance and then the Advance SP.
Yeah, that one was cool too. I liked that it was like pocket size and color still. It was still color.
Yeah.
Game though, I've said it before, especially when we did the episode. Raw 2 was so horrible. So horrible. We played our playthrough. How long did that ladder match take?
Oh,
you couldn't even grab the ladder. The whole mechanics of the game are just super weird. But I played the hell out of it. It was like one of the only wrestling games on the Xbox at the time, and I didn't have a PS2 for a while, so I was stuck playing that.
That's me with the original GameCube or the original Game Boy and King of the Ring.
Yeah, yeah. You didn't have many options.
Yeah, well, we talked about it in the episode when we played it. I put far too much time into this game that wasn't really that great, but hours and hours of my life, because I was like, I didn't have anything else to play, so that's what I was playing.
All right, let's move on to Techer's questions here. Sean Techer says, what is something that the other could do that would break up the podcast forever? Well, let me tell you. If George ever asked me to share a crunch wrap,
and John's gonna like take out the scroll of, I don't know, man. I often think about how busy both of us are getting, both in our personal lives and with all the stuff that's happening with Pod Exchange, and I genuinely think that might be the only thing that would, at least in my mind, would be the only thing that would make either of us have to walk away from the podcast. It'd be like we literally just don't have the time to do it.
Yeah, but I think no matter what, we would find it, whether we switch to bi-weekly, whatever, we would make it work. But I feel like, especially with Pod Exchange right now, we're just like firing away, and we're
Dylan
going
said
downhill.
The other day, when we recorded Going Pasta, he was just like, I feel like we are on, like the four of us are on the cusp of like really like getting, like going on the map, like being on the map.
It feels good. It feels good. But what could you do? I don't know. I mean, you don't do anything. I probably yell at you a lot. I bother you for, I know you got the notification silence. It's fine.
No, I feel the same.
George will straight up answer the group chat, and then I'll look, and my message from 2 hours ago is unread.
Still unread.
Yeah, I know. It's fine. I ask a lot of you.
I don't know. The only thing, I don't know. Anytime that we like squash this like really early on in the life of the podcast, is like anytime that there's like either one of us have an issue with anything, we talk about it immediately. Like, yeah. It's not like one of those things where we wait and then we get madder about it, and then one day we're just like, and you didn't do this, and I'm mad at you because of this. Just like, hey, you didn't do this, and that sucks. Try to be better.
The
It's
most
just like, sure.
yeah, the most I ever get mad at you is when like I'm on a time crunch and the game doesn't work or something, and we're like 45 minutes
Yeah.
into a session here, and like we haven't even started the game, and I just know we're sitting here for another like 2 hours. But we
My
get over that
favorite
pretty
thing
quickly.
was when we first made the TikTok, and I would post the like all the social content, like video social content, onto everything, and all of a sudden at like 1:00 in the afternoon, I would just get a message, TikTok question mark. I'm like, son of a bitch.
Yeah, whatever. It's all what are they? What did the kids say? Water under the bridge. No one cares.
Water under the bridge.
We're still here. We're still Johnny and George. All right. He says, if you were to choose a wrestling related, this is a crazy one. If you were to choose a wrestling related death to write yourself off the pod, say buried alive, trapped in the dungeon of doom, etc., what would it be?
Oh, okay.
I think I would step into a white limo and it would blow up.
I was just like limo, and then my first thought was 3 stages of hell.
Okay.
And then I went, is the limo in bad taste?
Nah, no one cares anymore, right? Oh, I guess what preceded it, like the next week, isn't?
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you hear Our Lady Peace is playing Game 3 of the Stanley Cup?
Oh boy.
No, really, they are. And let me tell
Cody's
you,
going to be excited.
let me tell you what 50% of the comments were. But yeah, I'll take the blowing up limo. That would be cool. Joe Compton says Chamber of Horrors. Knowing how well that worked, I think I will be pretty safe. I'll do what was that Mountain Dew match? The Mountain Dew blackout match, whatever it was.
I want the KFC, the WWE KFC matches where you have to fight the Colonel, but it's really
Yes.
Dolph Ziggler dressed up as the Colonel.
Shawn Michaels, I think.
Or Shawn Michaels.
Yeah.
And Miz was one time. Yeah, that's what
that
I'm
was
thinking.
good. All right. Bagel Boy Will. He wants to know, what's your favorite board game?
Oh, Will McDonough with the hard-hitting questions here.
He actually just threw another one in the Discord that I'm going to
Favorite board game?
This.
Not a big Monopoly guy. Takes too long.
It takes way too long.
I like Trouble.
Trouble's good. You ever play Rummy Cub?
Yeah. Is it Rummy Cub or Rummy Cube?
I've said cube all my life, and then everyone corrected me, so now I say cub. But
that's literally what I was like. Have I been saying it wrong my entire life?
I mean, I'm a cuber, not a cubber.
No, I like Trouble. Man, classic game that like never gets old. Guess Who?
That's a good one too. I also loved Battleship as a kid. Like,
that's a great
big one.
Give me, dude, wrestling. Guess Who?
Now,
Could you imagine how great a wrestling Guess Who would be?
That'll be fun. Yeah. Have you ever played the Pokemon game?
Like the card game?
Master Trainer.
No, I don't know what that is.
What?
Hold on. Maybe I have it. I didn't know it had a
Master
name.
Trainer. If you see the box, you'll know. But this box has also been in my basement since I got the game. It's still there. I still have all the pieces. If you ever want to play this, we could play. I have it.
Patreon episode?
Patreon episode. I think we still owe them Royal Rumble, the board game, as a Patreon episode.
No, I thought we did a
2 years ago.
we did a whole episode on that. I thought.
Yeah, I don't think we ever played it, but it's fine.
Well, oh my god, are we gonna do a tabletop Patreon show?
We could. Honestly, we could. With all the games we've played, we have Smack Talk Showdown. That was a fun one. There's a lot of them.
I'm so bad at that. We gotta get more. No one wants to hear me do bad promos for 40 minutes, so we gotta call in some friends to get them in.
Yeah. Will also wants to know, do you think there's a shot of getting Johnny and George in the wrestling code? I'll just say no right now. And if so, do you think they would let George mocap his own moveset?
There's only one game that I have a bucket list of trying to get into right now, and that is Ultra Pro Wrestling.
Oh, sending out the bat signal, huh?
That's all I want.
Just give us a little banner.
I just want someone in the crowd holding up our logo. Like that. That's enough. I don't need to be in the game. John doesn't need to be in the game. Just the sign in the crowd. That I would be over the moon.
Yeah, that would be fun. He also wants to know, of all the games shown this past week for Summer Game Fest, or whatever it's called now, what game are you most excited for?
Diablo 4 expansion looks really cool. I feel like
the Xbox Summer Showcase 2024.
Diablo 4 expansion, the new Assassin's Creed looks cool. This is the first time in a long time that I've been interested in Call of Duty.
Yeah, the new movement looks pretty good.
Very interested in that. And day one on Game Pass. So we could try that out.
You think they'll return my $70 for the last one I didn't play that I bought? Probably not. Gears of War E-Day looks good.
Oh yeah, new Gears.
When the trailer shows Marcus fighting the Locust, he looks younger. First I was like, what did they do to Marcus? Then I'm like, I think they made him younger. Like even the first game, he kind of had some wrinkles. And then all of a sudden you get that nice cinematic and Dom holds out his hand to Marcus and you're like, it's Dom. I cried over you. I watched you die. You were now with Maria, but you're back. That was amazing. I'm just hoping that it's not like Judgment Day, whatever it was called, because that, as much as I love Gears of War, that game was brutal. It was tough. The multiplayer was tough. The story itself was But there was also rumor, I don't think it was announced, but there was rumor they were remastering all of the Gears games like the Master Chief Collection, which it's pretty much a money grab for people who don't have the Game Pass because they are all on the Game Pass. So,
or for them to kind of, if they're using a new engine. Yeah, I guess it is. I don't know. Did you feel it that way with Halo, that it was more of a cash grab than like a fan service?
No, because I didn't have them individually at that point. And they had that cool feature where they did redo the whole game. And I think it was the back button you pressed. You could flip between the old graphics and the new graphics, which was really cool.
Yeah, I thought playing through that, I was like, this is...
Which helped. Sometimes you got stuck and you're like, I don't know where this spot is.
It helped me with the bridge.
And you just go back to the old graphics and you're like, oh, it's right here.
What do you think about Harry Potter Quidditch Champions?
So that was a game I tested a while back, and it was fun. It played like Rocket League almost, and it had like the queue and everything. Like it looked cool. It definitely needed work. I gave my feedback, but I only played it the first run. I didn't do the other test after that. So
okay,
hopefully they fixed stuff, but I believe it felt like it was on the right track.
All right. What about the Power Rangers game? Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Rita's Rewind.
That looked cool. That was
32-bit throwback style game.
Yeah.
I saw it and immediately was just like, me and John playing this game 100%.
OMG on our Patreon show. It
absolutely
had that what's it called feel to it, like Shredder's Revenge.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Power Rangers? Hell yeah. Give me that all day.
Oh, yeah. And I love these like side-scrolling beat 'em up style games. I don't know. There's just something about
we get, the better they are.
You know what it is? Because I feel like for so long, those, or at least in my head still, like that's an arcade game. Like there are so many versions or types of that game where there's console, like either releases or ports of the actual arcade cabinet. But in my head, that style of game is like, you go to the arcade. It was the only time, like the Simpsons one, you only could play it at the arcade. And I was just like, that's in my head, seeing this, I'm like, oh my God, it's that same kind of game, but at home now.
Yeah, I agree. I love that. I used to love, my friend had the Bart Simpson game for Super Nintendo.
Is it Virtual Bart or Bart's Nightmare?
Bart Simpson.
We talked about this.
Maybe Bart's Nightmare. The one where you could be Bartman.
I think there's just a Bartman game.
Bartman and Radioactive Man? Maybe that was it. I probably didn't know back then because I was like 10, but it was a very fun game to play.
I did play Bart's Nightmare a lot.
Yeah. Let's see. We got another one in the chat from Joe Compton. Favorite piece of wrestling merch you wish you owned? His is the burnt Fiend mask. I have the original Fiend mask, gloves, and lantern. That would be a nice set to complete the whole thing. One thing I wish I have is, I'm going to Google it, the Sting
jacket.
I have 2 Sting jackets.
I was going to say, John really wants the red and gold TNA Sting jacket.
Hell yeah. The Sting wrestling buddy, but the Toy Max one, like the blue and white one. Surfer Sting, but I think it's like super expensive. Yeah, it's $1,000. If you look behind me, I just added the Micro Brawler Sting to the Little Buddy collection. So I think The only ones I'm missing are this Toymax one, and there was a re-release of the Bash and Brawlers after the fact. They didn't come in a box. They just came loose in KB Toys, and they didn't have the voice box in them, and they made the Wolfpack Sting. So I would love that.
I think I want like a replica belt.
Okay.
I've never. I have. I mean, you have a couple. I know other people who have some as well. My problem is I just don't know which one I would get. Like, do you do like Winged Eagle? Do you do like?
Well, see, I bought the World Heavyweight Championship years ago, and I put like a Sting plate on it, even though it's the WWE one. I got it signed at like Access, but it got so beat up because it's the plastic one. It's the commemorative. It's not the like whatever the authentic one. But then I bought the white Intercontinental for zero reason. I just bought it because it was nice.
I mean, I would say it's a nice belt.
I sold it.
I have no attachment
recently,
to that, but I would have that belt just because it's nice looking.
I should have got Broski to sign it, but I did sell it recently along with the WCW Cruiserweight title, which I bought off Etsy from like one of those Indian sites.
Oh, is that? Didn't you make a repro or something else with that?
The cap title right behind me.
Ah, cap title. I was like, I know you did it for something else too.
So the only ones I have right now are this cap title, the WCW WWE World Heavyweight one, that because it's signed, and TK Wild for my wedding gave me the WWE Championship, so I can't get rid of that one.
Oh,
we took pictures with it that day, like the Universal style one.
Yeah. There's
that.
No shirts, right? There's no shirts that you think like, oh, I would love to get everything you can get like a reproduction of, or
I can make myself, T-shirts to me are
your way around Photoshop. You can make it happen.
Like the Perry Saturn shirt I tried to bootleg. To me, shirts are just shirts. They're not collectors. I have like the Undertaker Snoop Dogg collab. I wear it as a normal shirt. That's not like a collector's item to me. That's going to go away probably in a year, Go into the basket that gets left on my porch that the soldiers come get for the war vets or whatever.
What about isn't there a Sting figure that's like not the one that wasn't released, but isn't there like a Sting figure that you don't have that's like insanely expensive?
Oh, there's a bunch, especially the Galoobs. I kind of just like I'm gonna keep doing the current ones. I'm not really going back and getting ones I don't have, but I'm like 2 away from completing the entire TNA set.
Oh,
so they're a little hard to find. I think I'm missing a variant of one of them, and the other one was like a short run. So eventually I'll find them, but I'm not like dying to do it. Yeah.
I would say I feel like at some point you and I got to get. I mean, this is not like a break the bank kind of collection or anything. I feel like you and I got to get a Saturn and a Canyon figure.
I regret you sent me a Saturn figure not too long ago.
Yeah.
That one was mint in box in the place around the block from my house right now. And I saw it years ago and I left it on the shelf. It was only like $12. And I'm like, damn, I should have just grabbed it. It was mint. It was fresh. Should have got it. But whatever.
If I ever see one, I'll pick it up.
Mint. I want a mint.
Minty mint.
All right, let's move on to Soup's questions. I don't know if he's still in the chat. I think he left, but he says, "What is the next dynamic improvement you would like to see in the WWE 2K series?"
Bring back creative finisher. That's what I would like.
Did you used to make ridiculous finishers like I did?
So I used to try to make them as ridiculous as they could be without having them be like the 14-point combos where it's like, and then you do a super kick, and then you do a spinning kick, and then you do a power bomb and flip them over to then into a big boot, into a super kick, into
those
a super kick.
Oof. I think mine was I used to set them up like the Razor's Edge, but then flip them into an X Factor.
Yes.
And I was always like, oh, when I'm a wrestler, that's going to be my finisher. And I think
easy to do.
Once I tried it and I was like, I got the person up and I was like, yeah, fuck that. I'm not going to kill this person or me.
It's a lot. I don't even know. Explain how that works. Is that on you to flip them or is that on them and like core strength to like?
No, that's on you. You got to help. It's impossible. Not impossible, but like you're hinging on just their like armpits.
Yeah, I was just saying, like, I feel like with other moves, you have like a point to like, okay, I'm going to grab you and like flip you up. This is like a heavy by your arms and I have to twist all of your body weight on your shoulders.
It looked cool in a video game. That's about it. Hit it on a few Bash and Brawlers back in the day.
Again, easy. Made it look so easy.
What other improvements? I mean, you could always get more match types, but there's really not much that they don't have. The creative suite is huge. The arenas, everything's in there.
I would like.
I like the refs to be a little better.
I want them to bring back the ability to import your own music.
Okay, that's perfect. That would be awesome. Why don't we have that? I think because of streaming and all that. People making videos.
So it used to be that you could like throw an MP3 on like a thumb drive and plug it into your PlayStation and be like, oh, I have music on my PlayStation. I could just set any music from my console as the theme in the game. And in my head, once the advent of like Spotify and Apple Music and all these other music programs, it was like, that's just going to be the next logical step. Like Spotify will talk to the game, and any song that's on Spotify or Apple Music, you can just load into and like make that your song. It would stream
definitely some legal stuff there.
100%. There's like a ton of reasons why that wouldn't happen, but at the very least, load MP3s onto a console and go from there.
That would be cool. Maybe one day we'll get something like that. What about a full-on music editor where you take like MIDI tracks, you like add the drum track, then you add are we like really convoluting this here?
I mean, like they're putting like Fruity Loops in
exactly.
GarageBand, GarageBand Fruity Loops inside. Have you played around a lot with the make your own entrance video in 24?
Yeah, I use it because I don't want to use like Seth Rollins or the Raw logo.
Yeah, but there's a lot of cool like passable stock stuff, and you can layer them and like change how they blend and stuff. So like you do something like music. That. Yeah, you make different layers and like you can change the tempo to match it up, where it's like, you could change the tone. Like it's 10 guitar tracks, but those 10 guitar tracks are diverse enough where you can change the pitch, the speed, and and make it match up to drums. And like there's like some weird like algorithm that can sync it up perfectly for you if you want it to be.
I can't even imagine like what AI is going to be able to do with that in the future, but crazy. If George wasn't held back by that dastardly commissioner, David C. Anderson, at FWF1, how quickly would that match have ended? And do you think Off the Hop Rope would be out of the hospital yet? I can tell you exactly how that match would have gone. We did training videos.
I would have offered to start. The bell would have rang. I would have immediately tagged in Clash. Clash would have done the whole match. And then at the end, once he's easily taken out CPA and Top Shelf, he then lets me come in and throw what may be the worst looking clothesline that anyone has ever seen, and allows me graciously to get the pin.
You did some good stuff in training. You did some good stuff. You would have tagged me like this. Handshake.
Oh, maybe we do the thing where we circle around and like I circle around the ring with either.
You're getting a little you're getting a little ahead of yourself now.
And then I turn and I go, I just kidding. I tag you.
If you compare a signature cocktail and meal with the podcast, what would it be?
It's the wrong podcast. This is the perfect meal with the perfect.
But we're both bourbon guys, pretty much. So yeah, I feel like we'd have like a nice old fashioned or something.
I'll take an old fashioned. Or honestly, here's a question that I'm going to piggyback off of this one with. If you could pick, you're at like a company event or whatever, or a wedding. That's probably an easier one to go with. Full bar, you get to pick what kind of whiskey you're getting in your glass. Do you have like a go-to where you're just like, if I'm just going to have whiskey in a glass, not mixed with anything, what's your go-to?
Macallan? No, I'm kidding. No, I just had this happen at a wedding.
Glenlivet.
A wedding I just went to. They just had Jack Daniels, and that was like super disappointing. I mean, I guess it makes sense, but that's not.
Yeah, I know very few people who drink Jack straight. Anyone I know that drinks Jack's always they mix it.
I do enjoy like a nice Jameson. Or Proper 12.
I like Makers.
Makers, yeah. Usually go Makers. Buffalo Trace. My friend only had Buffalo Trace at his wedding. It was pretty cool.
That's a good set.
Yeah, that was nice.
All right. Sorry about that.
What about the meal?
So we're gonna say some kind of whiskey drink, Manhattan old fashioned, something like that. Maybe even just a straight up glass of something. And then meal.
Little beef Wellington or something.
Oh, that's fancy.
Little
John.
ravioli.
You're going way fancy. I was gonna say like if we did
Skirt steak with mashed potatoes.
oh, that's good. I was gonna say like a really like a nice steak sandwich kind of thing.
I'm down. Nice,
Like a slice
garlic
steak
bread,
sandwich.
ciabatta.
Nice. I would say nice toasted bread. Like make it a little elevated, but not quite the level of a Wellington or the. You ever see the sandwiches that they make with the Wagyu?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's
That's
us.
what popped into my head first, but I was just like, I feel like that's a little much.
That's us. We'll never be the Wellington. Just ask the Major Pod Network. But okay, next question comes from Jeff. Choose one match. Swoggle on a forklift or WLC 2, but Swoggle's dangling from the briefcase.
What is Swoggle on a forklift? Like
Judy Bagwell on a forklift?
I was just gonna say like Judy
Yeah.
Bagwell on full. Ooh.
I kind of want to see him dangle for an entire match.
I'm trying to think what would make him complain more. Like what would make him
He's complaining regardless.
I feel like the dangling at like the briefcase is so wrong, but it will make him so much madder.
It's so
Like,
wrong,
almost-
it's right.
Almost like if he was
Whose album was that?
so wrong it's almost right.
So wrong, it's right. Oh, All Time Low.
Mm,
That's right.
Yeah. I don't know. Both are good options, but I think both of us are doing dangling like a briefcase.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I want Swoggle versus Shoes. Book
It'll-
that.
Do you remember the episode of The Office where Oscar gets the thing to do crunches, but it's hanging upside down in the walkway, and he can't get back up, and everyone leaves him? It would be like that. I would also like Swoggle versus Shoes.
Painting a beautiful picture for me.
All right, last question here we have. Jerem wants to know, what's the worst TV series you have ever seen?
Worst.
Okay,
TV
I
series.
know exactly what my answer is. I just can't think of the name right now. Netflix Werewolf. The Order.
Ooh.
I don't know if you've ever seen it. It's 2 seasons. It's a werewolf show about a college where there's like an underground like vampire community. The acting is atrocious. It is so bad. I got through like the first season and my wife was like, this is during the pandemic, she's like, "Why are you watching this?" I'm like, "I don't know, I got to continue it now. Like I'm in it." She's like, "But it's so bad. Like you're complaining the whole time." I'm like, "But I have to watch it." She's like, "Is someone else like watching this that you have to like talk about it?" I'm like, "No, I literally just want to finish it because it's so bad." I never finished it, but it's up there.
The only thing that comes to mind are shows that like declined in quality, like shows that were really good when they started and then like slowly got. Oh, there was a Marvel show that was really bad, and I wanted to like it.
Moon Knight.
No. It's before Disney Plus.
Oh,
It's like one of like the Fox or wherever it was. I don't know if it was Inhumans.
oh.
They had like Inhumans and Agent Carter.
I never finished Agent Carter, but I should.
I don't know. I can't remember what it was. Oh
Yeah.
man.
There's a
Yeah,
lot.
I'm thinking
There's a lot of bad ones.
In my head, the ones that are like were really good and then like decline, like
Dexter.
I would say Dexter.
Great.
Did you ever watch
Greatest show in
True
the world.
Blood?
No, we watched the preview the other day to see if we were going to start it, and we both laughed and said no.
Starts out strong.
I do like Anna Paquin though.
Starts out strong. You got to know what it is going into it, and in the very beginning, you're like, okay, I can kind of wrap my head around this, and then it just keeps going, and then things get even more crazy and evolve into a place that I just couldn't follow it anymore. I was like, I'm watching this, like I'm actually watching what's happening on the show and they are telling me what's happening and I'm lost and I have no idea what's going on. Like, this is what's happening. I'm like, none of that makes sense. I don't know what this means.
Did you watch, it just came to Netflix, the Showtime show, Your Honor, with Bryan Cranston? Cranston. I don't know why I said that so weird.
I heard it. I haven't watched it.
2 seasons. We're midway through the season 2. It just came to Netflix. It was a Showtime show. Pretty good, but I could see like the decline, and I don't think there's going to be a season 3.
Okay.
But worth watching. Pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like that. Guys, if you have any answers to any of these questions, we want to hear what you guys think. Let us know on all forms of social media at GameMarksPod. Any of the questions that we ask, just let us know. I'm very interested to hear what people are going to have to say about the TV show one and what people's favorite board games are, because maybe that'll give us some suggestions for a Patreon show as well.
Hey, George, The Boys comes back tomorrow. House of the Dragon comes back Sunday. And next week, The Bear comes back.
Big shows.
Big shows.
Big shows.
Well,
I was like, oh, look at that. How are you going to find the time to watch all these shows?
only I watch The Boys, so that's fine. I can watch it late when everyone's sleeping. And Sunday night, weekly, House of the Dragon, easy.
Can I recommend something for you?
Sure. Finish Game of Thrones, because I haven't.
Also do that, but there's a new Star Wars show called The Acolyte.
Yeah.
Have you watched it?
No, I don't have time yet, but it's on my list.
Very different. I've only seen the first 2 episodes as of recording, so if you're listening to this in the future and the whole series is done and it was a complete bomb and it got way worse,
Blame George.
I've only watched the first 2 episodes, but first 2 episodes, I was pleasantly surprised. I enjoyed it very much, and I'm excited to. I think after we record here, I might go listen or go watch that 3rd episode.
Hope it's better than Ahsoka. Let's talk about what we're doing next week. We're going to do something we haven't really done before. We're going to take a week off. Guys, life is coming at us. Vacations are happening. Next week, we're going to go back. We're going to take episode, I think, 2 or 3 of the podcast. 3, I think.
Wow.
We're going to take our interview with the galaxy's greatest alien, whatever she's called now. She's on top of the world. Chris Statlander.
More than a woman.
More than a woman. I think she changed again, though. She's no longer a best friend. We're going to re-release that episode. We're going to take a nice week off. That's going to be a week off from this, a week off from GMP 24, a week off. No, actually, you're going to be getting a Patreon show.
Yes. Getting a Patreon show and yeah.
But we're going to come back the next week. We're going to post this on social media so you know. It's going to be either Tuesday the 25th or Wednesday the 26th. We're going to be doing live on our YouTube channel AEW Fight Forever.
It's going to be a long one.
It's going to be a long one. That's why we want you guys there for the ride. We want you guys to engage, ask questions, tell us how you really feel, if it's anything like those emojis I mentioned in the beginning of the show. But that's what we're going to do. Next week, we're going to have a nice little breather. But, George, I decided something.
Uh-oh.
We usually record on a Tuesday or Wednesday night. You used to have the Wednesday night streams.
Yep.
So in your absence next week, the Wednesday night stream is coming back. Twitch.tv/Johnny Clash TTV. I changed my name, guys. And we're going to do a Fortnite spin the wheel, make a deal.
Oh.
So whatever I land on the big wheel, I'm going to have to do that challenge until it's complete in the game. I tried this a few weeks ago, but I had some technical difficulties, meaning a baby was crying in the next room, and I had to take care of that. But Wednesday night, next week, that's what we're doing.
Oh, Johnny Clash filling the Wednesday night stream void.
So that's going to be the 19th. Spin the wheel, make a deal. Some Fortnite challenges.
Hell yeah, I love the sound of that. All right, guys, youtube.com/GameMarksPodcast for our weekly playthrough videos and a whole lot more. GameMarksPod.com/shop for our exclusive merchandise. ProWrestlingTees.com/GameMarksPod for all of our shirt designs. Patreon.com/PodExchange. That is PODXCHAN. Been a while. PODXCHANGE for this show, early and ad-free access to show notes, exclusive content from this show, State of Affairs, and Going Postal. And make sure to follow us on all forms of social media at GameMarksPod. And make sure to like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell. Love it. And like works when I do it now.
Shh.
And if you want to help out the podcast, please make sure to rate and review this podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you choose to listen to your podcast. And if you have a product or service that you would like to advertise on this podcast, you can reach out to us at gamemarkspod@gmail.com. Guys, we will see you in a week and a half, about 2 weeks, a week, whenever you're listening to this. We will see you for Fight Forever, live on YouTube. Johnny Clash, whenever you're ready, sir.
Game over. Marks.
Game Marks Podcast, put them on the radar. Playing rare games, Sega Saturn, no Game Shark. Johnny and George work hard and they play hard. Future endeavor games and put them in the graveyard. From the deep dive to the clash at the feast. How can I get more? That's question of the week. Follow on Twitch, there's nothing that they won't play. Game Marks Podcast every single Monday.